Welcome back to St. James Chair Yoga. I'm Louise Conrath, and I will be presenting you with a new chair yoga sequence that is different from the other three that we have had. I'd like for you to remember that in doing these chair yoga sequences, if there's something that does not suit you, you can just sit and wait until that pose is finished and move on to the next one. These are short videos, so 20 minutes of time. Today we're going to begin with a breathing technique, and these breathing techniques are to bring increased capacity to the lungs and increased blood flow to the lungs. This breathing technique is called segmented breath. And the segmenting is that on the inhale, we take 4 sniffs in, and then on the exhale, we let the exhale out for twice as long as the inhale. In most yoga breathing, the breathing is through the nostrils. So not with an open mouth, but with a closed mouth, and both the inhale and exhale will come through the nose. So let's do this together for a couple rounds, and then do a couple rounds on your own. And then remember, if you are thinking about using this breathing technique outside of doing the rest of the sequence, just come back to this first part of the video, watch it again, and then work on that breathing. So, to start this breathing technique, the inhale is 4 sniffs back to back. So, inhale, 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 and then let the exhale out for twice as long as the inhale. Second round, we'll do it together. Sniff, 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 sniff. Exhale, let that exhale out, let it be long. And now just, let's do 3 more rounds without any instruction here. So that was a few rounds of that segmented breathing. We did it a little bit quickly, and you certainly can slow that down so that it is a much longer inhale with 4 counts and a much longer exhale with a count of possibly up to 8. So try that again on your own. Let's move on with some of our poses today. We are going to work with our quadriceps, those are our thigh muscles, and our upper back muscles, the rhomboid muscle, which is the muscle that controls your shoulder blades. So we're going to be finding some contraction in the upper back muscles, and we're going to be finding some contraction in the quadriceps. So this little sequence that we're going to do right now is getting up out of the chair without holding on to anything. Now, if you need something to hold on to, and if you have a chair with arms, you can certainly use that and use those arms of the chair, but maybe work towards coming out of your seat without that. Now, to begin with, I'm going to turn sideways in my chair. My chair's seat is completely flat, so I can turn sideways and just show you that we are sitting forward in the chair, and then spine is long, and we're going to lean forward a little bit and then stand up and sit back down. I'm going to face back to the front. So find that place where you are forward on the chair, hands on the thighs, lean forward, come up part way, and then sit back down onto that chair. So you know that the chair is not going to slide out underneath you. Make sure that the place you are on a floor is flat and that chair is sturdy. Let's do this 2 more times, placing the hands on the thighs, leaning forward, coming up, not needing to come all the way into standing, and then setting your rear back down on the chair. One more time here. Lifting up, hands are still on thighs, and then bringing your rear back down on that chair, knowing that that chair hasn't slid away. You don't want that to be happening. So now we're going to try this 2 more times, once with the right hand down and the left hand out. So, and then we'll switch it out. Right hand on right thigh, and that left hand is just reaching out a little bit. It's a nice little way of helping you out of that chair as well. There's a little bit more forward motion. And then sit that back down. 2 more times here. Bring that left hand forward and come up and sit back down. Last time, coming forward and up and sitting back down. Left hand on left thigh. Switching that out, that right hand is just going to come up and off of the leg and rise up. Little bend still in the knees, coming back down on that chair. 2 more times, rising up and coming down. Last time, rising up and coming down. Bring the hands back onto the thighs. And notice how the spine feels. Notice how the thighs feel. Maybe you feel a little bit of activation there. Let's try this just 2 times without hands on thighs at all. Just letting the hands come out a little bit in front and come up. Maybe this is actually the easiest one. And down. Up. This is the last one. And down. Maybe those arms are actually quite helpful in that pose. Hands back down on the thighs. If you feel that in your lower spine, you might take a couple cat-cows in your chair. We did that in our first video, dropping your spine back, and then coming back through to the front of your sitting bones into that tall seat. Back in that tall seat, let's start working with the rhomboid muscles, the muscles on the upper part of the back, so we'll give the legs a little bit of a break. So take the arms overhead, and there are 2 ways you might do this. You may grasp opposite elbows, and if that's just too intense for you, you may just grasp your hands overhead, letting the fingers grasp each wrist. And then rest the hands on top of the head. So either in this wider position or this narrower position. And then in this tall seat, we're going to take a little opening in the side seams of the body. So begin on your inhale, and then exhale, bring your arms and your head together over towards the right side. Take a couple breaths there, not letting that left sitting bone come up off of the chair. And then back through to center. Inhale here, exhale here. Taking that over to the other side, arms and head all as one unit. Come over towards the left, keeping that right elbow from dropping down into your view there. And back through to center. Let's do that 1 more time in each direction. Inhale, and then exhale as you drop over towards the right, keeping that left sitting bone on the chair. And back through to center. So working the side seams of the body, working the oblique muscles, in the abdominal muscles. And then back up through center. Go ahead and release the arms back down to the sides. Take a moment here to notice how that feels. And you might want to take your right ear towards right shoulder and back through center, and left ear towards left shoulder and back through center, if you felt that in your upper neck. So just noticing here how those poses feel. We're going to work with our quadriceps once again. So with that right leg, lift your right foot off of the ground. You could just stay here. That could be as far as you go. Otherwise, push that right heel out in front and then turn the toes over towards the right and take that right leg over towards the right side and then come back through to center. Toes face back up towards the ceiling, bend back into your knee. A little bit of hover there in that leg, and maybe you went only this far to begin with. Maybe you'll keep working up to those other parts of the pose, and then that right foot comes down to the earth. So not leaning back in your chair when you do this, staying at that halfway forward in the chair. And now let's try this left side. Left leg lifts. Foot is off of the ground about 6 inches. Your hands can be just about anywhere. They can be gently placed on the upper thighs. And then straighten into that left leg. Turn the left toes outward. And then take that whole leg out towards the left. Back in through center. Bend back into your knee. A little hover there. Staying tall in your spine. And left foot back down to the earth. Let's do that a second time, but before we do that, let's just take a little swing from side to side. Nice little way of allowing for opening in your spine and the muscles that surround the spine. And then come back through center. Once again, let's take that right side, lifting the right leg. Straightening the right leg, starting with the right toes facing upward and then turning them out towards the side. Right leg over towards the right. Back through center. Toes skyward, bend in the knee, and place the right foot down on the earth. One more side to go. Hover that left foot off of the ground. Straighten into the left leg, toes are facing skyward. Turn the toes out towards the left, and then move that leg over towards the left without sinking back into your lower spine. Come back in through center, toes skyward, knee bends, and foot back down on the earth. Let's take that little swing from side to side again. Nice little way of rebounding out of that pose and then back in through center. Take a moment there just to notice how those poses feel. And now working with the upper back. So let's bring our arms into goalpost arms here. Yeah. Pull the elbows back. And then let's straighten into the arms, bringing the arms skyward. And then pull back down, and let's make a fist, just like we're pulling on a bar here. So you're activating muscles in the arms as you do this. Inhale, straighten the arms up overhead. Exhale, pull down and make a fist, just like you're pulling a bar down. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale as the arms rise up. Exhale, pull that bar down. One last time, just for good measure. Up, exhale, coming down, just like you're pulling on a bar. And now from here, let's see if we can draw our elbows back a little bit deeper and then forward. This might be the part that is more easy to achieve. So see if you can bring your forearms forward. Hands don't have to be gripped anymore. And then open that back up. Let's let the fingers stay wide and the palms stay out. Draw those elbows back. Taking your rhomboid muscles and squeezing them together so you can feel that upper back squeezing together. And then come forward. Maybe elbows will meet, maybe hands will meet. 2 more times, open that up, back into goalpost arms, and then draw those arms back in space. Feel those scapula your shoulder blades drawing together, and then come back through. One last time. Open that up, goalpost arms, palms facing the front. Draw your elbows back, pinch your scapula together a little bit, and then close that back up. Open the arms back up and bring the arms, hands back down to the sides. Let's take that right shoulder and bring the right hand on right shoulder and roll that shoulder back. And come back through center. Take that on the other side, left fingers on left shoulder and roll that left shoulder back. And then hand back down onto the thigh. Taking a moment here to notice how the body feels. And then let's take that little seated twist once again. So twisting from side to side. Hands are just out front. Gently moving from one direction to the other direction. And then come back through to center. Bring the hands back down onto the thighs. Take a moment here to notice how those poses felt. That was quite a bit of work for the shoulders, quite a bit of work for the legs. And then to finish off here today, let's do what would be a forward fold, a seated forward fold. Take the legs out a little bit wider so that the feet have some distance between them. And then maybe moving yourself back just a little bit further on your seat if you were quite forward. But we're going to let our heart be the thing that comes down into this space. So not rounding in the spine. See if you can let your vertebra be as if they were glued together. And then rise back up without rounding the upper back. So you're leading with your sternum here. Inhale and exhale, coming forward. Your gaze is out beyond your feet, not looking directly down, and then rising back up. Straight spine, just as if your vertebrae were glued together. They are not, but let's see if we can do that without letting the upper back round down and without letting the head drop down. Last time, long spine, forward, and back up into our tall seat. Go ahead and bring the feet back in through center, and notice how that made the body feel. Yoga is about that awareness of those sensations in the body and a little bit of time to let whatever's in your head to kind of settle down. It doesn't mean that anything has happened with that information, thoughts in the head, but you're giving your body a little bit of time to be the main focus. So, thank you for joining me once again for this short chair yoga sequence. From my heart to yours, namaste.